I will show you how I knit row 8 when knitting the front piece, the yoke on the front piece, on the Lucia blouse or dress. I already knitted 3 pattern reports, and I'm almost done knitting the last one. And here I am ready to knit row number 8. It's a back side row. So I'll do knit stitches, but I'll also do sort of a little magic which create this nice pattern. So I'll do an edge stitch, it's a knit stitch, and then I'll do my 4 knit stitches here, like that. Now, I have to knit through the garment. This is this stitch on my needle. It comes from row 7, and I have to knit through a stitch coming from row 1. Row 1 in the pattern report is the first row I was knitting with the contrast color, this Bordeaux color. It's this stitch. So I can count in a way I guess makes sense. So let's say this is the child. The stitch I have on my left needle, that's the child stitch. Then underneath this stitch I have my mother stitch. Underneath that I have the grandma stitch. Underneath that I have the great grandma stitch. Underneath that I have the great great grandma stitch. Underneath that I have the great 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 grandma stitch. And then at last here in row 1, the first row with the contrast color, I have my great 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 grandma stitch. So I will put my needle, which I'm holding in my right hand, in here. Then I will put the yarn over, and I will pull the yarn through the stitch. And here I have like a stitch on my needle. I have to be careful not tightening this thread too much. Then I will knit the next stitch through the back loop. And now this stitch is going to be pulled over the stitch here I just knitted, like that. Then I'll do 2 knit stitches, 1, 2, and again I will find my great 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 grandma stitch here underneath the first row I knitted in the pattern report in the contrast color. So here I am again. This is the child, underneath the mother, then the grandmother, the great grandmother, the great great grandmother, the great 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 grandmother, and then at last the great 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 grandmother. I'll put my needle through the stitch hole. I'll have yarn over my right needle. I'll bring the yarn through the stitch, and here is my stitch on my right needle. Now I will knit this stitch through the back loop, and I will pull this stitch over. And please make sure not to tight this stitch too much, because then it will press the pattern together. So if we have a look here, this is how it appears. So again, I will do 2 knit stitches, 1, 2, and again here I am. I'll find the great grandma stitch here in the first row with my contrast color. Pull the yarn over the needle, bring the yarn through the stitch hole like that, knit this stitch through the back loop and pull this stitch over. Knit 2 stitches. I'll find my great grandma stitch here in the first row in the contrast color. Put yarn on my needle, pull the yarn through, not too tight, not too loose also. Knit 1 through the back loop and pull this one over. Knit 2. Find the great grandma stitch here in the first row with the contrast color. Put yarn on my right needle, pull the yarn through the stitch hole and knit 1 through the back loop and pull this stitch over. And I will just continue doing that all the way over the needle. And then in the end, this is how the pattern looks. Yeah.